Well, it's a gloomy, springy day. Alright guys, so I'm on my way to a Tuesday morning. Sorry if I sound a little weird. I do believe I'm getting a sinus infection, or I got a sinus infection. It feels like it, at least. So I'm swallowing a lot. My nose has got that feeling like you've got a sinus infection feeling. So yeah, sorry about that. If that sounds weird, it is what it is. As you may notice, I'm not in my truck today. My truck, I ended up trading it in. I needed something that had better gas mileage. I was running through like left and right tanks of gas as much as I drive right now, and I needed something that was a little bit more economical. It is what it is. I like my truck. I hated to get rid of it, but something had to be done. And so I'm in this car. So a little bit different. It gets way better gas miles, I will say that. So right now it's a hybrid, so I never thought I'd own a hybrid of anything. And it's a Toyota, so we know the engines are going to be really good in this vehicle. I know you're like, why didn't you just get a Toyota truck? Well, because they are wanting a kidney, I think, to get one, and this thing will beep at me if I even get close to the other line. So, but anyways, yeah. So the trucks, they cost an arm and a leg. I think they even want you to sign over your first child, I think, too. So yeah. It wasn't feasible right now. Maybe down the road I'll get another truck. Just right now I just needed something that was a little better in gas mileage. Yeah, the gas is through the roof. It just keep on going higher and higher. And I was going through tanks of gas, and I was spending $100 to fill it up every time I fill the tank up, and I just can't afford to keep doing that. So I got me this car. Like I said, if I even get close to that other line, it starts beeping and yanks me back into the center. Now, it does have a little feature on here that it's like steering assist, and it will keep me pretty much in the middle of this lane for the most part. It has a little bit of a sway to it. Sometimes more noticeable than others. But it does a pretty good job keeping me in the middle of the lane, especially when I'm just driving. And sometimes if I go curve, I'm going to get close to one of the edges, but this does not like it unless I turn off that lane detection or whatever mode. Which, let's face it, if I'm driving a back road, I'm going to cut that off. Because this is something I haven't had in a while. I haven't had a car. I've had a truck now for a little bit, and the last car I had was a Challenger, and that thing loved to hug the roads, and I missed that aspect because in a truck you didn't do that. You go in a corner, you make sure you go slow. Well, this thing, because it's so small, it has a sport package, so the suspension is sport. So it definitely wants to hug the road too. And it feels like, compared to that truck I was driving, a go-kart. One cool thing it does have that I kind of like, that I'd only seen it on one vehicle prior, and I guess they're doing it on most vehicles now, or at least newer vehicles. I'd only seen this in a Chevy Camaro, was the heads-up display. And I feel like I'm a fighter pilot because in my window, there's a little box where I can see the speed I'm going, the speed limit, what the speed limit is in here, and it does pretty well. There's only a few times I've seen that it was the wrong speed limit, but it does pretty well of making sure it's the right speed limit in the area that you're at, and it'll tell me how fast I've got my cruise control set to. Now, this is something else I wanted in a car that I hadn't had in any of the cars I had so far. My wife's RAV4 has it, is the adaptive cruise control. Now this, I think they don't call it adaptive cruise control anymore. They call it like dynamic radar cruise control, which is pretty much the same thing as adaptive cruise control. And I like that because if I go on a long drive or something and there's going to be traffic, then it adapts to the traffic. So if I got set for, if I'm on the interstate going 70, and I got set for 70, and I get behind the car that's going 65, it slows down to that 65 automatically without me having to even hit the brake or anything. So it goes down, and then when I pass that person, it cuts back up, or get another lane to pass, it'll go back up to the 70 so I can pass that vehicle. It's a really nice feature that I liked on this vehicle that I didn't have on the truck or the Challengers that I had, and I wanted that feature. Another feature that this has that the truck didn't have, my Challenger Hemi did have, was Apple CarPlay. Because the truck that I got was a 2017, they hadn't put the Apple CarPlay in that system or in those vehicles at that time. The 2017 was the last year that they had those systems without Apple CarPlay. 2018 and above has Apple CarPlay in their systems. So I did not have Apple CarPlay, and I had missed it from my Hemi Challenger that I had, and it was a nice feature that I really enjoy that I just didn't have anymore. So this one does. This one's a 2021. It, as of, you know, it's 2 years old. It was a corporate vehicle, so it's kept pretty well for the most part. I've not seen any like interior blemishes or anything, exterior blemishes. It looks pretty brand newish for the most part. I mean, it's got 40,000 miles on it, so they put 20,000-ish miles a year on this vehicle. So, which for me is more than I used to. I used to put around 10 because I just didn't drive that much. And so really, I mean, this thing should last me for a long time if I decide to never get another vehicle. But it has heated seats. What else? Little features that it has. Most cars, I mean, not all of them, but most cars have the garage door opener. This one has it in the mirror, which I keep on wanting to reach up here because that's where my truck's was, and it's on the mirror right here. So that's a little bit of a different experience. It is hybrid, so it has a battery like mode, EV mode, which throws me off a little bit because I'm used to having a tachometer on my left side, and it doesn't have a tachometer. What it has is a charge like portion, a eco portion, eco with power portion, and then power. So it tells you basically where you're at in the stages of how the car is functioning as a hybrid. So when you're braking, it's charging the vehicle. When your foot's only so far down, it's in like eco mode, and the battery's only thing that's really moving the vehicle. And then it goes into eco power, which it's both the gas engine and the battery, and then it goes into straight power when it's just the gas engine powering the vehicle to move your car. So, or it goes into both, I think. It depends on how much you're pushing down on the gas pedal and what stages it needs to be in to charge also the battery, because it's constantly trying to charge that battery and keep the battery up also, but it's based on your driving habits also, I think. it's very confusing. I've got a little display on my dash where it's telling me what it's doing all the times, and it's kind of, I get mesmerized by it. My ADD kicks in, I guess, and I'm just like, ooh, lights. Like right now, it's because I'm kind of going downhill. It's charging the battery, and now because I'm going back up a little bit of a hill, it's actually using the gas to charge the battery and propel the car, because it needs to charge the battery right now. So it's just interesting to see how this car operates. And I've drove a lot here the past couple of days, because we just finished up our play. We end up having to do another showing that we hadn't planned on doing, and because we had a good turnout the 2 nights that we did do our showing for our play. So the third night we had another showing, and so I've been driving a lot back and forth from church. Saturday I had to go to Mom's film, so there was a lot of driving from different places, and really, I mean, it's not even dropped down to a quarter of a tank of gas. So this has been a really, so far, gas-saving vehicle, which that's exactly what I wanted. It supposedly gets somewhere between 40 to 47 miles per gallon, city and highway. So that's a huge improvement. I was getting on average 18 miles per gallon in the truck. So that's a lot better than what I was getting. Now, I don't know what, I haven't filled this thing. They filled it up for me when I bought it, so I don't know how many gallons of fuel this thing takes. But I'm gonna say it can't be nowhere near what I was spending for the truck. There's no way. The truck had like a 26-gallon tank on it, and it drank fuel. So this one is not drinking fuel. That hybrid is really helping out save my gas mileage tremendously. And I think this would even do better if you were in a city environment constantly, because you're using a lot more of that battery most of the time. And right now, where I do a lot of highway driving, it's I don't get as good of what I'm probably going to get. But as right now, I'm just using, because I'm slow, I'm in the neighborhood, I'm just using battery power right now. The gas is not even activated right now. So that's pretty cool. Like, not because I'm going up this steep hill, the gas cuts on, but it's also, so does the battery. So it's helping save just a little bit more fuel that way. That's a cool little vehicle. I fit like a glove in this sucker. It's not extremely tight. I fit just fine in here. I'm used to having a vehicle. I've had, most of my vehicles were cars, so it didn't bother me going back to a car. And it's a little sporty. It's the highest package you can get for this type of vehicle. So I have all the bells and whistles, which that's kind of what I wanted anyway. So, but I am now here at the church, so I'm gonna cut it off here. And I'm still trying to figure out a Thursday video for y'all. I don't know what that's going to be yet, what that looks like. We will see. But if nothing else, you will see me, well, most likely, unless I'm really sick. I've got a lot of things to do on Saturday also. So unless nothing else, you'll see me on Saturday. If not, you'll see me next Tuesday. So, until then, I will see you later.